All right, boys. Episode 11.
Episode 11. Hi, Joe.
Don't spoil the ending. My name's Joe.
Hi, Joe. I'm Sam.
And I'm Nick.
And hi, I'm John. If you weren't aware from that great introduction, Joe's not with us this week. Our permanent host is having to have a week off.
No, I feel like we should have a couple of seconds of silence.
Yeah, just remembering Joe. But don't tune out. Don't talk to me. Don't turn off. Stay with us. A 3-man pod this week. John can't make it either.
I know, it's the entire Don't Spoil the Ending crew's going.
I just about made it, so...
I know, yeah.
Hashtag save Deasty.
Yeah, hashtag save Deasty, yeah. See if we can get that trending.
Yeah, so just the three of us this week. Not got much to talk about really this week, though. Got a few films, a couple of TV shows.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll just crack on and see how it goes. Are you guys okay with that?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Great stuff. So have you been up to anything interesting this week?
Just about all I've watched is a lot of Suits. Rewatching that. I think they're up to season 7 or 8 now. I'm watching 5 at the moment, just recapping, and then moving on to. I've kind of given it a couple of years break, really, but I love it.
I know it's been on for a while, Suits, and that and White Collar I've always wanted to give a go, but never got around to it.
I watched White Collar when it first came out. I watched the first couple of seasons. I really enjoyed that, you know.
It's I can't think of his name now. The guy from Magic Mike. Do you know who I mean?
I know you're on about, yeah.
Matt Bomer. That's it. Matt Bomer.
Yeah. Is that supposed to be similar to Suits? Or?
I don't think so. I think it's the name of the show.
Oh right. I was gonna say like
the White Collar with the suit.
I was gonna say if I like that, I'd probably like Suits them, but apparently not.
What is Suits actually about?
Suits is basically Mike is a kind of a bit of a he's a brainiac, but he just doesn't really use it. And then one day he kind of stumbles into this sort of lawyer interview because he's running away from someone. He just bursts into this room, and sort of like because he can take in anything that he reads and everything like that. Photographic memory kind of thing.
Ah, right.
He does the interview and sort of like it really impresses in the interview and ends up getting the job, and it kind of runs on from there. But obviously, he's not past the bar and all those kind of things. But it's an absolutely cracking show. I absolutely love it.
Sounds a bit like Catch Me If You Can or something when DiCaprio's like pretending to be a lawyer or something. Yeah,
almost like that way. To it. It's really funny as well. It's not just sort of. I mean, it sways from funny to serious and sort of. It's really good.
So he gets a job as a lawyer, like without having any experience in law.
Pretty much, yeah. Like the guy, basically, the guy that interviews him is like the big shot kind of like lawyer at the firm, and he kind of it seems like he reminds him of himself and kind of like that kind of vibe to it.
So that's his way into it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a million miles away from White Collar, that.
Right. I've not seen White Collar.
Like in White Collar, well, it's not like 1 mile away, but it's not a million miles away.
Somewhere in between.
Like on that, it's a guy that like he's like a criminal. Like he's known for like robbing. I think he robs stuff and he's just really good at it.
Okay.
I thought was he like a con man or something?
That's it. He's a con man. Sorry. And basically the police bring him in as like a consult, kind of thing, and he just gets a job as a policeman in the end. so it's like I say, it's not a million miles away because he's quite like outspoken. He's quite a big character kind of thing. So it doesn't sound that far away from it. Like.
No. So.
And you know what else that does sound like? Catch Me If You Can.
Well, there you go.
He gets drafted in to help the FBI out, you know, because he's got the inside knowledge of being a con man and stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
Also thinking about definitely check both of those out then, because I love Catch Me If You Can. So yeah, definitely. Cool. Before we get on to anything I've watched this week, I just want to mention a bit of a complaint I've had today. Been into work this morning, getting breakfast paid for as a little treat, a little incentive. And a local place, I won't name, the Dalton.
I won't name him.
A local place, got my order totally wrong. Ordered bacon and egg on a bin lid bar. Ended up with beans and tomatoes. So disappointed.
I feel like you might have to. Any Southerners listening to this might not know what a bin lid balm is.
Maybe not. What do they think of balm? Do they call it balm?
Balms, I don't know. The rolls. Do they just call it rolls?
Balm cake, is that? Yeah, roll.
Balm cake's very northern as well.
Yeah,
further north than those.
It's basically a big roll. A big
pretty much. A roll, but like 3 times the size of your normal roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it. I was like, massive big roll, full of bacon and scrambled egg. And it came and it was full of beans and tomato instead. So fuming. So, but that's not the first time they've let us down, Nick. You've ordered in the past.
A couple of weeks ago, we ordered off our own back. This was our own money as well.
We were paying for that.
You know what I mean? I ordered sausage, egg, cheese, and mushrooms, like I always get. And they didn't give me the mushroom, which is the main bit for me, by the way. The mushrooms is my main.
That's what you really wanted.
That's the one I'm really craving. And they didn't put the mushrooms on it, and they put bacon on it instead. And people are probably listening, going, what's wrong with that? I'm not a biggest fan of bacon, so.
Yeah, you're not a massive bacon fan, are you? So disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah.
Customer service straight out the window. Last week, the last time we ordered as well, we got a bit of lip from the woman delivering the food. Why do we keep going back to them?
but Dalton, if you want to sponsor us, we will take back all of everything we've just said, and then we'll accept the free meals.
Yeah, if you want to stop talking shit about it, give us some money. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that before. You know, I might take to Twitter later on. I don't know if they're on Twitter or not, but if they are, they're going down. So I've watched a couple of things this week. Not really played much. Don't know about you guys, but
no,
not been on me PlayStation. I know. Killing Floor's now free on the PlayStation. Now I wanted to get on that, but I've not given it a chance yet.
I'm dying to give that a try. Killing Floor 2. It's meant to be a bit like Left 4 Dead. Have you heard of that in at all?
Yeah.
This one's a 6-player online co-op shooter.
Okay. But
like reviews for it are amazing and stuff, and it's free at the moment on PlayStation Plus. So dying to give that a try at some point. The only other game I have actually played is Tekken 7, which is Joe's baby. He's platinumed it, I believe, this week. In a week's time, he's platinumed the game. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll go into that in depth when he's back next week. But just to say, I'm loving the game. It's really good fun. I'm loving Akuma from Street Fighter 2. He's my boy on that game. He's my favourite character. Basically because it's like playing Street Fighter 2 when you're Akuma. It's all the same moves and everything as that. So I'm familiar with that. But it barely works online. I think Joe's not an issue with me saying this, but I just can't get a game online at the moment. It's broken online, which I'm fuming about because that's all I play Fighters for, just online competition.
Is that going to be the amount of people trying it because it's a new game, or is it just...
I think it's like is it netcode? Is that what they call it? I think it's the actual internet connection thing set up itself. It's just broken for connecting games.
Is that on Tekken side or Sony's?
I think it's Tekken personally.
Right.
With it being like a Namco game, they're not known for their online servers and everything, you know what I mean? A bit like we mentioned before, Konami, with Pro Evo Soccer. They had these issues back in the 2000s where they just couldn't get it working online. No. Because Konami just don't know what they're doing. You know, with that side of things, like EA have got can throw money at people to sort out servers and what have you. Konami just don't know that, and I feel like Namco are the same kind of thing. Hopefully they will sort it. Loving the game, but for now, pretty much can't play it online, so... Can't take on Joe yet. Just have to wait another couple of weeks before I can take him on.
I mean, I've seen a couple of cool GIFs of Tekken popping up around the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the hitboxes are amazing. Like it's like porn. watching like the legs just swing over someone's head by like an inch. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, really enjoying that. Have you got anything, Nick, you want to move on to? Or?
Have you finished?
No, I've got a few other things to go through.
Carry on with you. I'll come
carry
next.
on then. I've been watching a TV show as well this week. The Leftovers. Mentioned it, I think last week, was it?
Yeah.
I've been binging that. Burnt through season 1. It starts off quite slow, but when it really builds towards an awesome finale by the end of that season, there's like a religious cult that just causing mayhem. And like the actual drama from the people's lives who were involved with the mass like exodus thing that happened. Yeah, it's fantastic. I burned through season 1 in a couple of days. I'm halfway through series 2 now, which follows the same characters, but they've actually changed the location because of what happens to series 1. The main characters just need to get out of there and change town, kind of thing. Okay. So they go to a new place in Texas, and it really works. It really like flips the script, kind of thing. It feels like the same show, but a totally different, kind of drive to it.
Yeah, it's freshened it up, kind of.
Yeah, and the big appeal of the place they've gone to in the series 2, they call it Miracle, I think. and it's because it's the one place in the US where nobody vanished on the day of the vanishing kind of thing. So it's known as Miracle because nobody disappeared from that place, and that's kind of like the hook to them going there.
Okay.
But obviously things don't totally work out, as you'd imagine, kind of thing. But loving that. Justin Theroux, the main guy in it, is amazing. Barely seen him in anything else apart from Mulholland Drive. But
in relation to Louis?
You know what? I think he might be.
Oh, really?
Genuinely, because his dad was like a writer or something.
I vaguely remember reading on Louis Theroux's sort of like IMDb that he does have brothers that are
like a distant cousin or something, maybe.
Maybe.
Because I'm sure his dad was like a journalist or a writer or something. So like the whole family's quite.
His brother was in a band, maybe. I think I remember as well. So artistic kind of.
Into the arts, aren't they, kind of thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's like a third cousin, twice related or something like that.
It's just stealing the Theroux name.
And he does look a bit like him, I suppose. Like I've seen Justin Theroux, like they're not a million miles away kind of thing. So yeah, I've been loving that. One of the other big thing I've watched this week really is a documentary. I put on our WhatsApp group the other night asking for documentaries to watch. And Joe got back to us with one called The Keepers, which you guys are going to get into in a minute, I believe.
I've watched the first episode.
The same first episode.
I've not watched any of that yet, but instead of watching that, I went onto this one called I Am Heath Ledger. Have you heard of this?
I started watching it. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I did start watching it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Before last week's show, I was watching it before you turned up. Actually.
Watched that this week. I really enjoyed it. It's a really entertaining documentary. Not particularly well made, you know what I mean? Like not the best directed, not the best, scripted documentary, but it's just entertaining because of the subject matter, Heath Ledger's life and stuff. It's just a fascinating watch kind of thing.
Definitely agree. Yeah.
You get to see a lot of like Heath Ledger's home videos in there. Did he get to that part at all?
Well, they're throughout, aren't they? Really, his home videos. Yeah. Like I've seen one where he's just like going around the house pretending he was doing.
Like he's on some mission or something.
Yeah, like he's on a mission.
That was it.
It's really entertaining.
Yeah, I loved it. It feels to me like a bit of a Kurt Cobain vibe to it. Have you seen Kurt Cobain montage of Heck at all?
No.
A documentary.
That's the one that was like last year or the year before.
Year before, I think. Yeah.
I watched that one where it's got like all his family members and stuff being interviewed, isn't it? Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's all about how they found a lot of his old like work that he did. Just montages and stuff and like audio tapes that he made just on the fly. Yeah. This feels a bit like that, where they're just finding his home videos and it's just him like dicking around making home videos and stuff. And it feels to me a bit like Kurt Cobain in that he constantly has to create stuff, even though he's not off making a film. He's just at home making shitty little home videos.
That's it. Like he wouldn't leave to go just round the corner without his camera, would he?
Yeah, he'd take it everywhere.
He seemed to like. And one bit his best friend was like, we're going out kind of thing. He's like, don't forget to have the camera rolling. It's like, what are you going to catch going dust up the road?
I always think this when watching these documentaries. I watched like the Oasis documentary, and it was like so much of their like back catalog. Like it seemed to be like each of their sort of like practice sessions was recorded. It's like, do you just record everything in thinking that one day this is going to be like put together in a documentary?
I love that. Is it Supersonic?
Yeah.
When just a little thing, but that on the day that Blackburn won the league in 1995, the Premier League, it's just a home video of them just going mental because United didn't win the
Why
league.
are they recording?
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well, to be honest. Supersonic, that was quite good. But the worst elements of the Heath Ledger documentary are the bits when it gets a bit sentimental. Like they have some of his old friends on there and stuff, and it's a bit too, like a bit too cloying kind of thing. It's they have one guy on there who's a pianist.
Oh, what?
A pianist. And there's a whole bit of him like being asked by Heath Ledger to write a lullaby for Heath's daughter.
Yeah, see, I got to that bit.
And it just felt a bit too kind of... Maybe it was the fact that when he heard the music that he wrote for him, it was like, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't play this to any child.
Yeah.
Something like, the sun will rise in the morning.
He actually played it on the documentary, didn't he?
Yeah. That got a bit too kind of sickly for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But other than that, though, I thought it was great. I was hoping to maybe like see Christopher Nolan on there or something like that, but he was absent.
I mean, I guess he's not like got a huge relationship with him. He was just the director.
But apparently they were like really good mates when they filmed it and stuff like like Nolan was really cut up, when after what happened and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's
must be busy.
Yeah, busy filming Dunkirk, blowing tanks up and stuff. Yeah, so that was the main thing I watched this week. I'd give that probably like a 3.5 out of 5. really enjoyed it. It's just as a documentary, it just wasn't the best made documentary. If that, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, have you guys got anything you want to move on to?
Behind the microphone again. I mean, I've been watching. You've never seen it, and you'd never be interested. I'm quite aware, but I've been rewatching Game of Thrones, in time for the 7th season that's coming out in July.
It's not my. It's not. I think I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, oh, just for me, one of the things I bang on about with TV series is that there's two main characters and you have to follow it. And Game of Thrones was the pinnacle of two main characters that you have to follow.
I can definitely agree. I think we spoke before though. Like you very much like your TV shows and stuff to be in the modern day, don't you?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
This is obviously not.
No, the period kind of like not dramas, but
the. Almost a bit of a fantasy kind of feel to it, that kind of thing.
Fantasy, you're not into, not my bag.
I mean, I've been watching that. I've gotten just past the end of season 1.
So can we do spoilers now, or should we?
I think it's been about 6 years. So come on.
Yeah, when Ned gets his pumpkin chopped off.
So I've had amazing scenes like Daenerys' brother's getting his head melted.
Oh, Viserys, I loved that.
Getting his head melted with molten gold.
I quite like Viserys, but he was a bit mental.
Oh, yeah. and obviously Ned got his head chopped off.
Yeah, poor old Ned. Yeah.
Some amazing. But like,
sounds like a lot of heads being chopped off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's got nudity, it's got full-on sex, it's got people dying,
lots of gore.
It's disgusting, if I'm honest with you. But I'm enjoying it. Like I didn't realize how much I didn't remember, like from the first time watching it. I've been watching it, I'm like, I don't remember any of it. I remember the points, where like the bits I've mentioned where Viserys gets his head.
Like the big stuff.
I remember all that, but then like all the rest of them, like, this didn't happen.
Yeah. I think it's surprising when you go back and rewatch stuff. Like I always found it with Dexter. I've watched Dexter a million times, but even rewatching it again for the 6th, 7th time, whatever, like you still pick out things. You go, oh, I didn't. You tie things together, and it's like really enjoyable rewatching stuff.
And Game of Thrones is a big show like that. Like you mentioned, there's so many characters and locations. You just get swamped by it. I imagine now when you're going back to series 1 and rewatching it, I bet a lot of it is a lot more.
Makes a lot more sense.
A lot more sense because you know where people are now. You know what.
There's one character in particular which you love him. I didn't remember him up until like season 5. I had no memory of him being in it up until like season 5. Stannis. I did not realise he was in that early on.
My boy Stannis, yeah.
Yeah. But like that's what I mean. Like because of like I've watched so much and there's so much to keep track of. Like I just forgot it all.
I mean, there's stuff coming up in like series 3 and 4. Like, do you remember Gendry at all? Like when he gets out, you'll be like, I forgot about it. He just disappears and like never comes back.
Yeah,
you're like, Gendry, I forgot about him. And do you remember the baker boy, Pie Face or whatever he's called? Hot Pie, that was it. Sorry, a little fat guy going around with Arya, and he could bake pies and stuff. And he just disappears. And you're like, oh, there goes Hot Pie. He just never comes back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been enjoying that anyway. Apart from that, I've Orange is the New Black just released its 5th season.
Yep.
I think I'm 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know. I've watched a few episodes. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's quite fresh, so I don't want anyone to hate on me. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm thinking like. Because obviously, like, I think we've spoke about this, that they're doing it, like in real time, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I think we spoke about this.
I'm not sure on this.
Basically, like each episode, like if it's an hour that passes, like
oh okay, I get you. Yeah.
If the episode's an hour long, an hour will pass.
Right.
Kind of like 24.
24. That's what we were about to say.
That's what they do. Then they've switched up a bit in the.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I've watched episode 1 and that kind of it makes sense. Like that seems to have been what has happened. So yeah, no, that makes sense. One of the things, like pretty much for all of episode 1, there's an alarm going off.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised that I didn't actually get too annoyed by it, but for a good 40 minutes of the hour episode or whatever, like there's an alarm going off in the background. And I was like, someone turn it off.
I mean, I don't watch the show, but is this to do with the riots or something?
Yeah. At the end of the 4th season, there's like, it kicks off essentially, and it basically takes up exactly where it left off, doesn't it?
Are we spoiling it?
But I don't want to spoil anything because.
Well, we'll go to the end of season 4.
We can go to the end of season 4.
It's basically the end of season 4. She's holding a gun to a guard's head, and it just does literally go on from there. And I was a little bit worried how they were going to sort of resolve that situation, and whether she's just going to sort of just go bang, and just sort of like that's going to be that so over and over. But it plays out in quite a funny way, really, and it's sort of which is kind of true to Orange is the New Black form, that it just these serious situations are just played off as quite like comedic.
You've got this really like important incident going on, and this like ripple of comedy going through.
Yeah, you have the odd characters like popping in with like one-liners, and it's sort of like because it's really good. Like it just follows their character, and sort of I was happy with the way sort of like they did resolve that situation, and then how the rest of the episode went on. I really enjoyed episode 1. I can't wait to get into the rest of it. Really.
Have they dumped all the episodes on in one go again?
Yeah.
So they're all on there. Yeah. There's just so much to watch at the moment. I do want to get onto that at some point, but
I mean, it's definitely a highly recommended show. I would recommend it to you.
Yeah, I know everyone raves about it and stuff.
Because I like Jenji Cohen, the creator of the show. Like I didn't realize until like a good 3 seasons into Orange is the New Black, but I've been a fan of her shows before. Like she created a show called Weeds.
Oh yeah,
which. I loved that show, and I think I remember actually like when describing it to you, John, comparing the two shows. Like I think I said Weeds was a cross between Breaking Bad and Orange is the New Black, and I didn't realize at the time it was the same creator. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Jenji Cohen.
I do definitely want to give it a try. The only issue for me is there's so much TV out at the moment. I want to watch that. At some point, Better Call Saul. At some point, the new series of House of Cards. I'm halfway through The Leftovers. There's so much quality TV. There's constantly dropping on us at the moment that it's so hard to keep up with it.
I mean, that is one thing. Another thing I've watched this week. Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
I've finally caught up to date. Yeah. What are your thoughts on where we're up to?
I mean, I'm proper enjoying it. I'm loving the little transformation that's going on. Because obviously, are we allowed to spoil anything?
Yeah, you can spoil stuff.
I know, but like it's quite a fresh show, isn't it? I don't know if.
Well, spoiler alert.
Like, there's been a little transformation, like where like obviously. Jimmy Miguel he was always kind of the underdog, but it's kind of taken a bit of a turn in this season, hasn't it? Where he's kind of got his own back on his brother, and he's kind of down in the dumps a bit, but like he's doing Saul Goodman kind of things now. He's
you definitely see his dark side coming through, his Saul Goodman side coming through, sort of with some of the things he's doing, and he's being a bit more shady than he was in the previous couple of seasons. So it's all starting to go through. I have really enjoyed it. The first couple of seasons were really good. This season, I'm a little bit more passive on, sort of I'm not that into it as much. I think one of the reasons is this has always been a case with Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, that it does run quite slow.
Yeah.
I am getting a little bit sick of this sort of the montages of sort of mundane things. I mean, at one point, one of the what's his name? Is Friendly Helper, not Helper, bald guy.
Oh, Mike.
Mike, yeah. Mike goes off into the desert, and there's a montage of him just digging about 20 different holes.
Right.
So trying to find this thing in the desert without giving spoilers away. And I was just I really just don't want to watch it. It happens each episode where there's just these mundane things which happen. It's you watch a cup of tea being made, and it's no, just move it on a bit, will you?
I didn't realise they were still doing that. I mean, that to me feels like a holdover from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
There was one scene on in series 4 or something where it was a montage of them cooking the meth and stuff, and it was set to a really popular song like Blue Crystal or something it was called, or something like that, and everyone just lost their minds over that scene. Like it was just basically the really boring elements of cooking meth and stuff, but it looked amazing over this like dead popular song, and it feels like they took that and just ran with it, kind of thing. Like
they have carried on doing that a lot.
I mean, this season feels a bit more nostalgia trippy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the inserting a lot of new characters and not new characters, old characters from Breaking Bad. Like obviously we've got Gus Fring has made a reappearance. In previous episodes we've had
I'm used to
Huel.
Yeah.
We've had Huel. He's made a reappearance.
He came back. He's like, hey.
But like he's lost loads of weight, so.
He's still a big guy.
but that's what I mean. Like it's as if if you think of it like in the timeline of Better Call Saul, he was obviously this not quite skinny, but it weren't that big.
Yeah,
okay. And then he's just put on loads of weight.
Do you guys remember like the memes that were going around at the end of Breaking Bad? Because the show ends with Huel just in a hotel room.
I do
peeking out the window, like, as if he's like still there now, just afraid to leave.
Yeah, I think there's another character that I can't think.
There's a lot of characters that come back, but
Vanessa, is it? From Breaking Bad, the one that ends up taking over the meth business. That woman.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that.
She's made a single reappearance.
Is that the one who's played by the Scottish actress?
I think so. Yeah.
The reason I mention it, I watched A Knight's Tale, but I'm not going to talk about that until next week. But
that's where she's from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you just blown my mind.
Scottish, blacksmith.
Yeah.
I was watching. I know her from somewhere. It was what's she called from Breaking Bad?
I'm sure it's Vanessa or something.
Yeah, she went on to play her, the businesswoman who gets killed with the stevia at the end of Breaking Bad. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, I knew I'd seen her from somewhere before, like I couldn't put my finger on it.
I've watched A Knight's Tale recently, and I think I just passed it off like, I know her from somewhere, but that's what.
Yeah, she's only like 23 in A Knight's Tale or something like that.
Right.
She's dead young, like yeah. So, you got anything else you want to move on to, or?
I don't think so. I'm gonna kick myself later because I'm sure there's some.
Well, we mentioned the Keepers. We didn't really go into it, but watched episode 1 of that. That's another one of these murder mystery kind of Netflix shows, documentaries.
It's got
it
almost.
Really felt to me. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it feels a bit like Making a Murderer.
Yeah, it does to me. Like,
I feel like that's what you're about to say.
Yeah, it's like not that they've stole the format or anything, but they know that they'd be interested in that kind of format, so they're trying to stick it, to that, to very much that format.
I'm happy that they've gone with that format. I agree that they have kind of like ripped it off a little bit, but I mean, it works.
Yeah,
it's hugely popular for Making a Murderer, but why not go with it? And
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I felt like, it is in a similar vein, like shot wise, to Making a Murderer, but I was quite happy with the way they've done it. I think it's really good. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Even though the subject is not enjoyable.
Yeah, a bit of a dark. Just to let anyone know, it's about you guys can probably explain it better than I can, but it's about
two nuns kind of went missing. It's kind of like in separate.
Was it 2 nuns? Wasn't it just?
Was it one nun and someone?
And then just a little girl,
another,
like a 20-year-old girl.
Right. They went missing, but from the same town.
Yeah, like they live quite close to each other. I think there was like 5 miles away or something, but.
Yeah.
It's a 28-year-old nun and then a 20-year-old girl.
Yeah.
That just went missing.
But I mean, this happened in the 50s.
Oh,
I think is it that old?
60s?
50s, 56. So, but like this is you got a lot of these characters like really getting on a bit and sort of like trying to remember back, and they interview the old like police superintendent or chief or whatever, and he's saying like, oh my friends are sort of like they're gone or dead, and it's like you can't really interview many more people.
I was watching it throughout the episode, the first one, because that's all I've watched, and like every time like they spoke to a police officer, I felt like I was like, they're hiding something. I feel like they're literally holding back, and then at the end of the episode, obviously it's like someone basically said like, oh, they're hiding something, like there's been a cover up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think the whole thing it's going to come down to is like there's some kind of which again, it's like Making a Murderer. It's on the same line as that.
Episode 1 was definitely sort of like an introduction to characters and a little bit of the story and sort of like just how it played out those first few days and whatever, like few weeks, because the two disappearances are separated by a significant time.
Right.
So.
Are you sure? I feel it was like 2 days later.
I think it was a couple of weeks. I remember, like, I think I rewound it and it was like a few weeks apart, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right. I know it was like a month before they found the bodies.
Okay. That might be what I'm getting mixed up on then.
I mean, you might be right, but I thought, like, because I specifically remember, like, the family of the girl, the little 20-year-old girl, the brother saying, like, I remember my mum saying, like, oh, girl's gone missing.
Okay.
You be careful. You come back safe, kind of thing.
Okay.
And obviously she did.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe episode 1 didn't do a very good job of explaining. No, I'm interested to see where it goes after this.
To be fair though, with like Making a Murderer and the Jinx, after the first time I watched it, I felt a bit like that, where I was just lost in the details of the, there's so many like elements to the case that I had to watch it probably a second time to actually nail down, right, this happened then and that tied into this. So might be worth giving it another watch maybe at some point. Just I'm definitely going to get onto that. Just going off from that though, I find it interesting with documentaries. I feel almost as if with documentaries, it's like as a format, a genre, they do a lot of copying each other. There's a lot of like what's hot at the moment with documentaries, like Making a Murderer leads onto that. But also you mentioned in there how it took from so long ago. They were interviewing, is it people in modern day about they're really old now and stuff. Yeah. Have you heard of The Act of Killing, a documentary?
I've not.
I hope I've got this right, but I think it's a documentary about. I think I've got this wrong actually. There's a documentary about like this massacre that happened about 30 or 40 years ago, and they interview them in modern day. And like I say, it's weird seeing these like 80-year-old people being questioned about a murder they did like 40 years ago, and how blasé they are about it because they don't expect anyone 40 years later to be digging this up, kind of thing.
I mean, this wasn't interviewing like the murderer. This is just like
just the people. This is just the people involved, but there's a lot of people involved with this one. So
there's like the students, wasn't it? The students of the nun, because like apparently she was that beloved that like was it? I think he was 69. They said. I feel like it was like 40 odd years. It's like just 40 odd years, and like they're still interested in knowing what happened because no one knows what happened.
Yeah. So I just find it interesting how like that format gets through one that we watched. My Scientology movie, was it?
I was going to bring that up because it was going to tie in documentaries and Justin Theroux. I was going to piece that together. Right. But no, I watched that a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, because I think we have talked about it before, but I hadn't seen it at that point.
Yeah.
I was going to quickly mention. I really loved it. I thought it's one of his better ones that he's done recently. I've not really enjoyed what he's done recently, but I really thought that was a good one.
Well, we had a bit of a conversation at the time. Like I loved it, but for me, it just feels like it's missing like a big kind of. It's like it's looking for that big revelation, that big moment to like really hammer it home, and he just doesn't get it, does he?
You feel like he's close.
Yeah. I loved it. It's really close, but it just doesn't have that big like hammer point he's trying to get at. But that ties into what I was saying then. Like, I think it is The Act of Killing I'm talking about. That in that film they do a lot of recreations of like what happened, and it felt to me like with my Scientology movie, I loved it, but there's a lot of that where he's getting people in the room and recreating stuff. He'll cast someone to play Tom Cruise. He'll cast someone to play David Miscavige, and it feels like he's copying that format himself. Trying to get at something that they were doing with that other documentary, trying to recreate those moments, and it doesn't totally work for me in that film.
No, the Jinx also does like little recreations and stuff like that, but they tie in and sort of like they're sort of put in there, not as filler, but you have someone talking over it. Whereas the way Louis Theroux did it was like, oh, we're going to interview this guy now, and you watch the interviews of different people, different actors, sort of like playing the role, and I was like, I was a bit confused at what that point of the movie was because
what they're trying to get at kind of thing,
because it was just to do sort of like the big recreation in the room where was it David
Miscavige smashes that light strip.
Unbelievable seeing that.
That was good. The actor they cast as that like the leader of the Scientology group, He was scary, I thought.
Yeah.
He really got into the headspace.
Then I think afterwards he just kind of went and sat down and just put his headphones on with his feet up, though. It's just like, all right, just chill out.
It's really weird. And again, like you mentioned, they cast Tom Cruise at one point in that film. I don't think they use him after that. They just show you them casting him and don't use him for anything.
He just hangs around the set for a little bit.
Yeah. So a lot of that, it just felt to me like he was almost taking the ideas from like this other documentary. But I loved it as a whole. I thought it was good. I'd probably give that like 4 out of 5. That My Scientology movie.
I'd give it a little bit less.
Really?
Yeah. It didn't. I wasn't that impressed. I won't go back and rewatch it. Whereas I have with other sort of Louis Theroux stuff.
I've got to admit, I've probably watched that documentary about 4 times now since since it came out. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think I'm pretty much done. Have you guys got anything else you want to move on to?
No, covered pretty much everything.
Happy to move on to the main event.
Just before we do that, I'll just mention one other thing. Talking to Louisa in work today, Bates Motel. Have you guys watched this at all?
I've not.
I watched the first episode as one of these. I'll try it out and see what I think. It was good, but then there's so much of it, like you were saying earlier, there's so much of it good TV stuff. So I was just like, I think I just got swamped down in so much other stuff. I was like, and then maybe it's not drawn me enough to sort of go back to it, whereas other shows have started where I've gone and watched that instead.
I will come back to it in future because Series 4 was just dropped on Netflix.
Okay.
Series 5 has just finished in the US, which is the final series. So I'm hoping to burn through 2 series in the next few weeks, and I'll come back to it and talk about it then. But I think you guys would really enjoy it. You should.
I know it's a prequel to
Psycho.
Psycho, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people have told me to watch it. It's not something I've gotten round to yet. There's a lot more things I'm interested in watching. So.
Just a couple of things about it. You're a Rihanna fan. Is that right?
Yeah. Call me that.
She's your favourite musician.
I mean, I wouldn't say that by a long shot, but...
She's in the new series, season 5, yeah. And it's always been a prequel to Psycho, but the new series is actually basically the film of Psycho in a series of TV. You know how they do that now with Hannibal? Like Hannibal got to a point where they were just redoing the movies in the TV show. They're doing that with this now. They're just redoing Psycho with the final season.
All right, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. That should be really good. And another thing, Inman, we always say you look like Jeremy Corbyn. There's a guy in this who you look just like. Have you heard about this? Yeah, we were all about this. You look just like the guy from Bates Motel as well. So you got 2 doppelgangers.
I prefer the one in Bates Motel than Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, really? I thought you'd gone for Corbyn.
No.
The most powerful man in politics right now.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah, so right. So I think that we've covered everything we're doing this week, yeah. Before we jump on to the... M. Night Shyamalan masterpiece split. Well, just got a bit of a question for you. Is that okay? Just, I won't. This won't generate as much discussion as Joe's did last week. Just a bit of a question, just to get a bit of a.
Okay.
Hopefully, a bit of discussion going.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan. Are you familiar with him?
I know him for his plot twist. That's his sort of catch line for me.
What a twist! That's his kind of.
I've seen a large chunk of his films, so
yeah. Okay, M. Night, his name. What does the M stand for?
I was going to ask this.
I've got 4 options for you. Midnight Shyamalan. Manoj Nataliata Shyamalan.
Okay.
Melvin Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
Or just Manoj Night Shyamalan. 4 options for you.
See, that second one you said, I feel like you've thrown that in to make us think it's got to be that one.
Right.
But like...
Manoj Nataliata.
Yeah, I feel like that's one you've thrown in, but I don't know.
I really just want to say mid. That'd be hilarious.
Midnight Shyamalan.
The thing is, it could totally just be like, it could be that.
And
just
trolling you.
Just trolling us here. Like. What was the third one again?
The third one, Melvin Night Shyamalan.
I mean, I don't know if I can see him as a Melvin.
Mel.
Okay.
Could you shorten it to Mel?
Mel Knight.
Mel Knight.
The last one was just Manoj.
Manoj Knight or Manoj Natalayata.
Shit.
I'll go with the second one, Manoj Nataliata.
You're going Manoj Nataliata.
I'm going to go with Manoj.
Manoj Knight or Manoj Nataliata?
Well, his name.
Oh, as in Natal. Oh, as in you're taking that as the Night.
That's the Night.
Oh,
bit in
okay.
that one, yeah.
But like his name is M. Night.
M. Night Shyamalan.
So I'm gonna have to go with Manoj Night.
Shyamalan. I've been getting the surname wrong now.
Okay, yeah.
So which one are you going to go with?
I'll stay with the second one.
You're staying with Manoj Netalayata Shyamalan.
Yeah, and he's just shortened it to Night.
Right. Okay, I've got to give him the points this week. His name, Manoj Netalayata Shyamalan. I don't know where the night comes from.
Well,
Natalia.
Yeah. Sounds like he's just shortened it. Like.
Yeah. If you're going to shorten it, just go with midnight. Yeah, so let's talk about Manoj Netalayata Shyamalan's latest film, Split. Inman, you watched the trailer.
I watched the trailer again. I'll review the trailer again.
What did you think of the trailer?
The trailer's really good. I liked it again.
You mentioned...
Which is the point in a trailer, but yeah.
Did you want to watch it after seeing the trailer?
I did, and I will get around to watching it at some point, and I'll do my little review.
Afterthoughts, yeah.
Re-review.
How's just been released on Blu-ray and DVD, hasn't it?
Came out this week on Blu-ray, yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Get down to HMV.
Yeah. You mentioned as well the trailer. Did it mention a bit of commentary from Shyamalan?
Yeah, so IMDb had like a IMDb exclusive where M. Night, I won't try and repeat his name, Shyamalan, did like a little commentary over it, which was quite interesting. He said at one point he wanted to be a therapist.
Did he?
Yeah,
did he?
apparently so. I was like, ooh,
okay.
Interesting. So I was like, with his twist and all that, I was like...
Yeah, well, there's a therapist in the film, so...
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So, should I read...
He actually works with the therapist,
he does,
in the film,
does. Should I read the synopsis out there?
Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah.
We
need Joe back.
We need Joe. I'll read the synopsis out, so...
Go for it.
Okay, so 3 girls are kidnapped by a man with a diagnosed 23 distinct personalities. They must try to escape before the apparent emergence of a frightful new 24th. And that's the synopsis. So basically, there's James McAvoy, who is amazing. Is a man who called Kevin that has 23 different personalities.
Kevin, Dennis.
Well,
Patricia.
Kevin's the original.
Right.
Kevin is
the body.
He was born Kevin, and obviously he's got. See, I don't know if the 23 personalities includes Kevin or not. I assume it does.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And there's a 24th on the way as well. Yeah,
like you said, there's Dennis, there's Patricia, there's Hedwig, and then they've got Barry and all these other ones.
They're the main ones that come across in the trailer. So are they the main ones in the film?
Well, in the film, like you I think you see a bit of the other ones, but Dennis, Patricia, and Hedwig are the ones that you see.
Most, yeah.
23 seems to be a lot of ground to cover.
You don't see all 23. I think you see, like, for a couple of seconds, you maybe see maybe 7 of them in total.
I think so, yeah. Okay. He's got a habit of doing the Shyamalan. He'll tease you with something like, there's 50 different versions of this, but you only see 5 of them.
Yeah.
Just give you a bit of a quote as well. You might have heard it from the trailer. But Nick mentioned Hedwig there, which is like, is he an 8-year-old boy or 10-year-old boy?
Nine.
Oh,
yes.
9. Playing a 9-year-old boy, and he's the one who like almost tells the girls what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when he's telling them about the beast that's coming, it's like, he's on the move.
One of the other quotes from him is, the beast has done bad things to other people, and he will do bad things to you. And he makes his face afterwards, with like really wide mouth and eyes are beaming. It's like It's like I found it almost funny. I don't know if it's funny.
No, he was really the comic relief in this film. Right, okay. He really was. Like, is this one bit? We're all right to spoil it, aren't we?
Oh, so yeah, just a warning. There will be spoilers in this. So
are we okay with this?
Yeah, okay with that?
Yeah. There's this one bit where basically like. This Hedwig there's kind of a bit of a relationship between one of the captured girls and him. So he asked her if he can kiss her, and he like, so yeah, sure. Well, it's not just like that. I think she's scared. Obviously, she's just trying to like
get out,
try to placate him. Kind
of
thing.
Yeah. And she gets and he gets all nervous and he's like, "Ooh, I've never done this before," kind of thing. And then he just kind of places his face on her face. Okay. And then afterwards he goes, might be pregnant now. But everyone in the cinema when we went to see it was just cracking in stitches. Yeah. Honestly, there's a few bits as well. I think like when he first introduced him, he's like, "Hi, I'm Hedwig. I have Red Sox."
That's the thing. Like Inman mentioned before about how was it Orange Is the New Black? It's got like serious stuff going on with this undercurrent of comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
And Night Shyamalan always does stuff like this. Like it'll be a really dark, dramatic scene, and then Hedwig will just say like, "Your hair smells like strawberries." And there's that one scene when he does a dance to Kanye.
Yeah,
remember that?
He put Kanye on his CD player, and he's doing this amazing dancing.
So good.
Anyone listening, I was just trying to recreate it a bit, but
it is really good. Yeah, and he's got a few got another personality. Is it Eric or Dennis? The one with the glasses on.
Dennis is the man, the perverted.
He's
man.
basically plays a pervert as one of his characters.
Okay.
And keep in mind, he's got 3 like teenage girls locked in this basement.
Yeah.
And there are bits when he goes in and just deliberately gets the jumper messy to be like, "Oh, you've got to take that off now. I've got to wash that jumper. Take it off." They're like,
"Oh." So by the end of it, you have like 3 girls who are basically like in the bras and the knickers.
Yeah.
And just. I
think that was it. There's one bit where she's got a jumper on. He's like, "Come on, take it off. Got to get that in the wash." Then she's got a white t-shirt on. He's like, "No, come on, take that off. That's filthy. Take it off."
And the other girl is like, "Right, you've got your skirt dirty. Take it off. Come on."
Yeah, it's good. Again, we're in spoiler territory here, but the main thrust of this film is that it's essentially the origin story of a comic book villain without you knowing that's what it is, isn't it? That's basically what you're watching.
Right.
You think it's like a horror thriller or something, but it all goes back to Unbreakable, which I don't think you've seen him.
I've also not seen.
You've seen it, Nick, haven't you? Unbreakable. Yeah. Bruce Willis is like a real life superhero in that film, and he discovers his powers as the film goes on.
Yep.
And by the end of it, it's kind of like he's unbreakable. Basically, he's like a real life superhero living in the real world.
Okay.
The end of this film, after you've gone through what McAvoy does in the film. The film ends in a diner in Philadelphia with James McAvoy's exploits being told on a news story on a TV, and the camera pans over and it's Bruce Willis from Unbreakable, as if to say like, right, I've got to go and catch this maniac now, kind of thing. So it ties it in with Unbreakable, and like they've confirmed the next film, Unbreakable 3, will be Bruce Willis trying to catch James McAvoy.
Some girl actually says, doesn't she, in that scene, like, "Oh, it's just like that character 15 years
That's
ago."
The bit, yeah.
What was his name? And then Bruce Willis comes up and goes, "Glass Man."
Oh yeah, Mr. Glass.
Oh, that's it, Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass, by the way, is played by Samuel Jackson in Unbreakable. So definitely worth giving it a go.
Yeah. I love Unbreakable. It's a 5 out of 5 film for me.
Oh really?
So when that ending happened in this film, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Like loving the film already, but then that just blew your socks off.
And we've discussed this before, but it's one of them twists that Shyamalan does a lot. It recontextualizes the whole film you just watched. At the very end of the film, you realise, shit, it wasn't a horror thriller. I've just been watching a comic book film. It's going to tie in with Unbreakable. I just love that. And the fact that none of the marketing showed anything to do with this. It's refreshing to see a film that like any other franchise would be like, yeah, we're Unbreakable too. They'd want people to know what it is. Yeah. Whereas this, like, don't tell people that, they'll find out when they watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's just refreshing not to be that cynical, to be... They didn't market it as Unbreakable 2. It was just its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little twist at the end that, oh shit, it's Unbreakable.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I've not got too much else, to be honest with you. Have you got anything more you want to
No.
What I was going to say is, like, from the limited sort of, like, viewing that I've seen on the trailer, it's like James McAvoy, the difference, the way he portrays each character seems amazing. The way he does it and really commits to each character.
Oh, he really does. Like, and when he's doing it as well, like throughout most of the film, like he'll go around a corner and then come back, and he's a different character kind of thing. Yeah. But like at some point, he's switching right there in front of you. And you're like, wow, like he's literally just going from one character to the next, just right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, there's one bit at the end where he's talking to himself in the mirror, and you're seeing him. You're seeing his reflection in the mirror. When the camera will pan from one to the other, and it's like two different people having a conversation. Yeah. It's so weird, kind of thing. Such a good performance. Just on that as well, I mentioned the Unbreakable tie-in. Once you know that, and you go back and watch it again, there are so many little clues that point you towards that. I'm not sure, this won't make much sense if you haven't watched Unbreakable, but do you remember at the start of that film where he's on a train, he's like flirting with a woman in the train seat next to him. And the way it's filmed, the cameras in the seats in front of them. You know, the gap between the headrest of the seat, the camera's panning back left and right, showing each person talking, as if like you're in that seat, just kind of like sneakily watching them talk. And they do that in this film at the start. When he gets into the car with the 3 girls in, the camera pans between the car seats, showing him in the back. If you remember, like, he comes up behind the car and attacks the father. And the camera pans and shows you that, pans back to the girl just talking, gossiping about garbage. And right behind them, you know, you've got McAvoy, like, killing the father, basically. And knowing that and watching it again, I just find it really interesting. It's dropped all these little visual clues in there that if you're on board and switched on, you can be like, yeah, shit, it's Unbreakable. You know what I mean? Like, he's making the same film.
That's cool.
And like, there's loads of little music cues that call back to Unbreakable that I only got the second time watching. I was like, shit, yeah, he's literally laying it out for you that it's Unbreakable kind of thing, and you just don't get it.
He said in his little commentary, sort of like, he was really happy with the music that was chosen, so I don't know how much influence he had over that, but I'm guessing if it ties into like his Unbreakable film, then sort of like, then he must have had influence over that, but he was saying like he was really happy with the music choice.
There's definitely a few cues in there that sound just like the Unbreakable theme kind of thing. So he must have planned that, I think. There's one other final bit in it. The main female character, Anya Taylor-Joy. I get the feeling as well, after watching it for a second time, they're almost setting her character up to be like a sidekick for Bruce Willis or something.
See, I thought that. I feel like she's going to be some character. I've asked her to bring James McAvoy down a peg or two in Unbreakable 3 or something like that.
Yeah, she could either be a villain or she could be like a sidekick for Bruce Willis or something.
But like she in the film as well, she's got this backstory which...
Oh, I was going to mention this.
Actually, she's got an uncle, and her uncle's... do you know that big gay...
Big gay Al.
Big gay prison guard in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
The one with the beard.
Yeah.
He's her uncle in there.
All right.
But like he plays a slightly different character in this. But I mean, I almost don't want to spoil this bit because of like how
dark it is.
Yeah. I don't know if we should.
We don't have to.
I might leave this one for you to be. I want to know your reaction to this one.
Yeah,
like
actually, it does play into the end of the film, so yeah,
it does.
You can leave that. Yeah, you can. Once you've watched it, you can let us know what you think. Yeah, but she's great in it.
The female character, is that one of the kids?
The main kind of female kid, yeah. He was
saying also on the trailer commentary, sort of like how impressed he was with her. It sounds like he really had like a shine to like that. He was really happy with her playing the character because he was saying sort of like she's almost like timeless, sort of like the faces she was making. She really showed the emotion and sort of like it really came across. And it cut to her and he was like right there, that emotion. He was kind of like really sort of enthusiastic about like the way she played that role and stuff.
She is great. I mean, the only other thing I've seen her in, I think, was The Witch. You know, the
Vivitch.
The Vivitch. Yeah, she was the main, like the main witch in that. Oh, that's a spoiler. The main girl in that. Yeah, she was the main girl in that. And she was amazing in that as well, to be honest. She's also in a film called Morgan, which I've got on Blu-ray. I've not watched yet. Another horror film.
Morgan.
She's like a test subject being kept in a cell or something, but I've not watched it yet. So
I've not seen that yet. I wanted to watch that though.
It's not meant to be amazing, but I just want to watch it just to see what she's like in it, really.
Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, like she's in the next film where she teams up with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and that apparently is Shyamalan's next film. It's moving on to, so definitely looking forward to that.
Do we know a timescale for when that's coming out? Or?
I imagine next year or two. Really, he's churning them out quite quickly at the moment.
Yeah,
The Visit was the last one, which I really liked. Everybody else hated, but I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Again, I think Shyamalan's films are funny. And people don't get it. People think they're going to be like these horror thrillers, and he does put loads of comedy in there.
Wait, The Visit? Okay. Which one was that?
That was where a couple of kids go to visit the grandparents, and it turns out to be not the grandparents.
Yeah,
another spoiler.
It was actually quite an interesting film.
Yeah,
but yeah. Are we done with?
I think so. Yeah. Just want to give Shyamalan a big thumbs up. I'm a big fan. I love all his stuff.
What are we rating this film then?
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah, shall I go first?
Oh, I was asking.
I'll go first. Yep. I've got to admit, I love it. I love this film, and again, it's one of them films that you can go into, but if you're not on board with the humour, the goofiness of it, you're going to think it's garbage and just laugh at it. But I just think it works perfectly. I love the humour. I think it's quite creepy at times. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Inman, how would you rate the trailer?
I mean, even in the trailer, it came across like how good the performances were, especially from James McAvoy. And sort of like it's a film like it seems like a really, really good film. I'll definitely want to watch, and I will at one point. High threes, nearly pushing a 4.
Right, 3.5 then, yeah, for you say.
Yeah, a bit further than that.
A bit further, 3.75.
Yeah, I can go with that.
That's quite a high trailer rating for you. That we'll have to do a list of your trailer ratings. Put them in order.
Okay, I mean, I loved it. I thought James McAvoy was amazing in it. Brilliant film, to be honest. I mean, I'm probably just going to give it a 4 though.
No, that's cool. Yeah,
4 out of 5.
I was on the fence with it, thinking 4 or 4.5, but I just thought, go for it. I love it. Just bump it up 4.5. But yes, you're going 4.
I'm going for a 4. Yeah,
great, strong film.
Yeah. It is a really good film, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there was not one person laughing when we were in the cinema, like at the bits.
At the bits you're not meant to laugh at.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone loved it as well. Like I got a great feeling that everyone in the cinema was enjoying the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great film.
Just a couple of recommendations for you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think of like Lady in the Water and say After Earth. Everyone hates them 2 films. I love Lady in the Water. I think it's like a great idea for a film. After Earth, I really like it, but everyone hates it.
See,
not as good as Lady in the Water, but I still like it.
I've never seen Lady in the Water. I'm assuming it's an M. Night film.
Midnight Shyamalan film, yeah.
I've seen After Earth though. That was the one with Will Smith and Jaden.
Yeah, Baby Smith. Yeah.
I was wondering whether I was getting mixed up with films though, because that is that one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Isn't that where like this might be a spoiler, but they have to be not scared?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they show fear, the monsters will recognise it. Yeah.
I think. That just didn't draw me into it at all. Like that whole kind of.
So you have seen a Shyamalan film then?
Oh, you've watched it?
No, I've not watched it.
Oh, have you not? Okay.
Sorry, no, I'm not seeing it. But I was like, no, I don't want to see this film.
Okay.
But
you've got to be completely emotionless to like not attract the monsters.
sounds a great film.
It's watching 2 characters with no emotion. But I actually quite like it. Like it's weird, isn't it? It's a weird little film.
Yeah.
And we mentioned earlier about Shyamalan sets up things where there's like 50 options and you only use 2 of them. In that, they have a weapon called a cutlass. Do you remember that at all? And they're like, we've got 30 different configurations for this cutlass. We only see 3 of them. It's like sword, gun, and bow or something. It's like, I want to see the other 27.
Just the main 3.
What else can you do with this? But yeah, so I wouldn't mind hearing what you guys think about Lady in the Water. Maybe one time.
I'll have to give it a watch. Maybe we can have it as our film of the week one time if we've not got a big film.
It'll be quite divisive, but I just love Shyamalan. I think he's got some great ideas. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's the film wrapped up. Have we got anything more we need to go on to? Or
have you got ideas for a film next week? Or
not, to be honest. Just to mention, we were going to do The Mummy this week, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it came to it last night at 5 o'clock, and we were just knackered. Finished the work. End of the week, we're like, I can't face trekking to Westbrook, watching a film, and getting back again, kind of thing. Yeah. And like we usually like having a few beers when we go to the cinema, don't we? As well. So when you're not really up for it, kind of thing, it's like,
weren't feeling yesterday. I was so tired.
And it probably didn't help that the Mummy reviews have all been absolutely garbage.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like we went to obviously watch Wonder Woman the week before. Like that was being raved about, so I was like, yeah, I'm proper up for this.
Yeah, well up for it.
Mummy's just getting slammed, isn't it? So
yeah. What I did, I went home, went to bed quite early night, and put The Knight's Tale on and watched that. So I'll talk about that next week. I need to give it a rewatch to catch all the bits I missed.
Is there any new films coming out this week in the cinema?
There is something, but I can't think now what it is. Transformers is next week, I think.
Yeah. Oh god,
not a fan, no.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like one of these times we should do a review on the film that everyone hates. I want to do a review on a film that everyone's just slamming. Like, this is awful.
Well, that's kind of why I brought up Lady in the Water. I'd love to hear your guys' take on Lady in the Water. You could absolutely hate it, to be honest, or you could love it. It's one of them films that. But I agree. I think we could do more films like that could go either way. Generate some discussion.
Generally, sort of all agreed on how a film has gone, haven't we?
So far, pretty much.
Jesse James was a bit of a divisive one. I think that was.
But we all ended up giving it a pretty similar rating.
Oh, Jesse James. Oh no, me and you were like 4.5 and 5, I think.
Yeah.
I think Joe was like 2 or something for that.
No, I think Joe even still gave it like a 3.5.
Did he? I don't know.
What film was it?
Maybe. Oh, Josh didn't like it. Maybe it was Josh who bumped that one down.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, where Warcraft was a bit divisive.
Yeah, it
you
was.
guys love Warcraft.
Yeah. But
So,
like it might be worth like see if we did like Transformers though. I feel like everyone would be like, yeah, I'm not even rating this, guys. Not worth a rating.
Transformers 1, I really like. And
I'm with you on that.
I'm really happy with that.
I'm fan with the first one. Yeah.
2, I just can't even remember. I don't think I've rewatched it. 3, I went to see in the cinema and I really wanted to walk out.
Yeah.
It'd be half as long as if it didn't use so much slow-mo.
Well, this is my whole point. Like, I mean, I think Joe's always like taking the mickey about why I like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films. For me, they're like Transformers, but half as long. They're like 90 minutes or something. You know, it's like for me, Transformers would be good. Just make it 90 minutes. Don't make it 3 hours long or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You don't need to drag it out that much. You know, just cut it down. Get rid of all that slow mo. You'd have half the film, kind of thing.
What is it? The 5th one that's coming out now.
5th one. Jesus. Yeah. The Last Night. The Last M Night. Yeah, so I think we'll probably give that one a miss. But how about this then? For the film next week, we'll announce on Twitter on Monday what it is. We'll have a chat, come up with the film.
I Am Legend.
That's a good idea.
We've been meaning to do it for a long time.
This has been on the.
I'm throwing it out there.
This has been on the cards for a while.
You're not here though, Nick, next week. So do you want us to do it when you're away? Or...
I mean, I'm fine with that.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Should we just call it then? I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Let's do it. Let's lock it in. I Am Legend for next week. Will Smith. Got After Earth connections.
Joe and John are listening to us going, no.
Yeah, Joe can't make it next week. Yes, we've just decided. Next week, tune in for I Am Legend. In the meantime, you can hit up our Twitters. Mine is at Taylor1980.
Rubik's Football.
At DSTE Nick.
And
the main podcast is DSTE Podcast.
And what's the Instagram?
DSTE Podcast 4.
Great.
Because,
nice one.
Because we couldn't get the main one.
Yeah, we've got no Jono for this. Missing Joe and Jono at the moment.
Well, hopefully, to be fair, like if you two are both there next week, and John, you'll have almost the full
we'll be back up
crew there.
Should have a full 4 next week. Yeah.
But the week after, hopefully, we'll have a full crew then.
Full complement.
Yeah, back to usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Is this our first 3-man pod? Oh no, we did one with Joe, didn't we? Yeah, me, you, and Joe did a 3, and we gave him a call.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the 3-man pod. That's all from me, Taylor.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Cheers.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
How long was that?
No, I said Taylor at the end. That was
Taylor. Who's Taylor?